For today's video, I want to talk about some basic glute exercises that I usually give my clients first thing, no matter how much or how little experience they have at the gym or with exercises in general. I'm very picky. I really want to make sure things are activating correctly, and just learning how to do these 3 glute exercises well will really help you get you past that plateau in strength training that you may be in. So for the first exercise, we're going to lie on our back, nice and flat. Legs flat, everything flat. You're going to put your hands on your quads or your thighs here. And then I want you to just simply pinch your butt cheeks and see what happens. And then relax. Let's do 2 more times. Relax. Last one, and hold. And relax. So when you're doing this, a lot of people tend to have their quads come out or rotate out a little bit when they're doing the squeeze. So when that's happening, you're not actually isolating the glute muscles as much as I would like. Typically, your hamstrings or your quads are doing the work for you and really rotating your legs out to get that butt squeeze. But in reality, I really don't want your quads or your hamstrings to really join in, and it should only be your glute muscles. So let's try this again. Take your time and see what you're feeling and be honest with yourself. See if it's actually just your glutes or if it's your quads or your hamstrings that's doing the work for you. And then hands on our thighs again. It's gonna sound silly, but you're probably watching this at home, so please close your eyes. I want you to think of a toonie if you're Canadian, or just simply a pencil just on your butt cheeks there. I want you to think of pinching that pencil in between your butt cheeks without the use of your quads or hamstring muscles. So even if it's a little pinch, that's okay, and that's all we need. I know it's super difficult. Close your eyes and just focus on your glutes and your butt muscles. If you're having trouble, I like to tell my clients to shake out their legs, get those quads relaxed and your hamstrings relaxed. Tell them to stop working, and just even a little pulse in the butt cheeks, it doesn't have to be a full clench, is enough for me. So typically when I give this to my clients, I like to say you should be doing these butt squeezes 10 to 20 times a day. I don't want you to be super fatigued from it. So if you're starting to notice that your quads or your hamstrings are joining in, just stop for the day, reset, do it again tomorrow. And once you get this basic down, you're gonna see way more improvements when it comes to your squatting or deadlifting. So for the second exercise, we're adding the glute butt squeezes with the bridge to help us get up into that bridge position. So I'm essentially making the bridge just a little bit harder. So for this one, since we are focusing on the glutes, we're gonna go on our back. I want your heels as close as you can to your butt as possible. Further out, you are starting to work your hamstrings with your glutes, but right now I just want to isolate those glutes and teach you how to use those. And then I want you to take your hand, any hand, put that right underneath your back here. And as you can see, most people, they typically have a little bit of space there. Before we even do this exercise, I want you to think belly button to spine, and then actively pressing your back into your hand there. So now your core is engaged. I don't want you to think belly button to spine as in like sucking in, but just that action of belly button to spine kind of coming together and then actively pressing your back down into your hand. And now you can take off your hand if you'd like. Then do the same thing, except now you're actively pressing your back into the floor. Try to keep your feet planted the whole time. Actively push those knees out just a little bit before we even get started. At the very bottom here, I want you to do that activation or that glute squeeze without your quads and hamstrings that much. This glute squeeze will then allow your hips to somewhat come up, and then we're gonna get your quads and hamstrings to join in to get into that full bridge mode. And try to get your hips as high as you can towards the ceiling without any back pain, and then lower. You want to keep your hips square towards the ceiling as you come up and down. So I like to say that this is an order in contractions. So essentially you're going to turn on your glutes first, at the very bottom. Allow that to kind of bring yourself up just a little bit, and then your quads and hamstrings are gonna bring your hips all the way up. Biggest thing with the bridge is just make sure your hips are equal and that you stay square to the ceiling the whole time. So you're not opening up or twisting or anything like that. So for the third exercise, we got clamshells. I know a lot of people know what this is and they might not be feeling it or they weren't taught it properly. So this is just the way I do it. And this is kind of what I think works best in my opinion and what works for my clients. So you're gonna lie on your right side here. You're gonna bring your knees as high as you can towards your chest. You're gonna put your free hand kind of on the side of your butt. We're gonna kind of palpate or find where that glute med/min is. You're gonna keep your ankles together. First of all, this is not a range of motion exercise, so I'm not opening up and then going backwards. It's just a little open up. So we're gonna keep our ankles together, bring your knee up. The second you feel it, that's good enough. So I hope that made sense. If you want to make any of these exercises a little more difficult, feel free to add some sort of mini band to your knees. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button for more exercise tutorials.